Hello friends, I'm Dr. Kaustubh Bondre. We are here to discuss the key takeaways and important points from today's editorials from newspaper The Hindu. Before moving forward, I would like to request you to subscribe to this channel, like, share and review this video when you are done watching it. The first editorial today is about the NEET examination. The conduct of this examination and the recent judgment, the results as well as the recent judgments of the court have brought in certain issues. We just see what important issues are raised by this article. The first issue is about syllabus. When you speak about the syllabus, we see that there is no uniformity throughout the country in syllabi of various boards, state boards especially. Now, when you conduct an all India examination and the states differ in terms of their syllabus, composition of their syllabus, there is bound to be unevenness in the result with respect to the representation of the students from various states. Now, the context of this article is Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, especially Tamil Nadu has not done very well in the NEET examinations. That is why the system is supposed to be unfair, or the system is interpreted as unfair by the students of Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra. Here, I would like to point out that at least in science and maths, we need to have uniformity throughout the country. Because of diversity and geographical difference in various sections or regions of India, we cannot have, or we may not have, language or other subjects like history very common to each and every region. The history and geography of that particular region is going to be highlighted in the state syllabus. However, when it comes to maths and science, we definitely can have a uniformity. Second issue that is raised is about the cost of education. The cost of medical education has become exorbitant. This is supposed to be unfair to the candidates from backward classes and the candidates from disadvantaged sections of the society. The government needs to take care, and even the colleges and institutions have to bring out various schemes where educational loan or finance is available, help is available to all those students who deserve but do not have the financial ability or capability to afford those medical education seats. The third issue that is important here is about the role of coaching industry. Because NEET is hyper competitive, it's tough and the competition is too high. Because of this, obviously a coaching industry has spawned, which has made it very difficult from the students from disadvantaged sections to even get coaching for that examination called NEET. Here I would like to point out that whenever the number of seats is less and the people who appear for the examination, the number is very high, it's bound to create an industry based on coaching and training for that examination. So the only solution is either you increase the number of seats or you reduce the attractiveness of that sector. Both these cases in short term are very difficult when you consider medical education in India. Next, the issue I would like to highlight is from this point, you can go back and study the recommendations about higher education given by Professor Yashpal Committee report. So just go Yashpal Committee report, search on internet, and then prepare your write-up. What were the recommendations of that committee regarding higher education in India? After this, I would like to point out, concluding part of this article, that we need an education system, whether it be medical, engineering, or whatever. We need a system where the diversity of India is reflected. So students from various backgrounds should be able to get place in the education system or that particular course without compromising, obviously, the quality. And second, the system should be inclusive. So that should be the focus of government, to make this NEET or medical education diverse as well as diversity reflecting as well as inclusive in nature. After this article, the next article that we discuss today is about the trade wars. Now, first, before moving forward, let us understand what is the concept of trade wars. This is a situation in which countries or a group of countries, they engage into tariff war, retaliatory tariff structure. So if one country puts tariff on foreign products from another, or products from another country, that country retaliates by increasing the tariff structure for products coming from the first country. So this is tit for tat situation, that the countries engage in retaliatory tariffs. Understand one thing, that this is outside the scope of WTO. So we are not discussing WTO presently. This trade war is what countries individually do to the tariffs from products from another country. Here, the issues, before moving forward, we need to understand the background. When you speak about trade wars, basically the trigger has been Donald Trump. When he came in, he got votes of the American working class, and that is the reason why he's moving. See, we understand Trump is a businessman, right? So he may not be interested in long term what happens for global trade, global peace, and all these concepts may be alien to him. As a businessman, he has transactional approach, and he has a support base which is the working class of American whites majority. So because of this, he started this imposing tariffs on Chinese products like steel. After that, he also imposed such products not only from Chinese, right, European Union, Mexico, and now those countries are retaliating by imposing tariffs on America. What will be the impact of this trade wars or the impact of this retaliatory tariff structure? The first is increasing taxes. It will result into customers getting products at a high cost. Second, it will be negative for global trade. So the global trade will reduce, and it will also result into reduction in global growth. The third, it will set up a cycle where all the countries and economies become protectionist in their nature. So increasing protectionism in turn will also hurt global trade and global growth. Last but not the least, it will have an impact where the efficiency of production process throughout the globe goes down, because when free and fair trade is present throughout the world and the goods and services are exchanged freely, then the economies of scale and the principle of efficiency result into production at a place where it is most efficient. Now, if there is protectionism, barriers and walls are being created for the movement of goods, then definitely the principle of efficiency is going to be compromised in the international trade. The next point here is we can understand this from the context of tragedy of the commons. Here, the world trade offers a representation like it's a common property. Everyone has an interest in keeping the world trade free and fair. However, when any particular country tries to extract maximum from it, it is at the cost of the larger interest. This article also raises an issue about the relevance of WTO. I would like to highlight that when we speak about WTO, it is the basic principle of WTO is free and fair world trade, global trade, which is in the interest of all countries. So this is a high time that we should not dump the process that began at Doha, the development round in WTO, and all the countries have a stake in keeping WTO alive, because that is the only platform where trade disputes between countries can be solved at a level of equality. So after looking at this article about world trade, we move towards the next article. This article is about, it's a political article. This article criticizes the last 4 years of BJP government in India. However, we'll not go into this political issue. What we will do is we'll just see the key takeaways which are related to economy from this article. The first thing, we will see what are the positives of this government. The first thing is the reform agenda. It can be GST, it can be the ease of doing business I have highlighted here. So the government has done a wonderful job in making structural changes in the economy which will increase the ease of doing business. Now, having said this, it has to be understood or seen in the context of certain steps which were disruptive that the government had taken. Maybe it was demonetization. It was also implementation of GST disrupted the age-old system which was followed in India regarding indirect taxes. So because of this, the growth is reducing. Now, in short term, we have reduction in Indian economic growth. We should also understand the global context when we speak about economic growth. Presently, the entire world has just started increasing the GDP growth rate. What has happened is, this was discussed in recent economic survey, which says that the global economic growth is recovering and there is a divergence. We see growth slipping in India, plus we see that Indian exports are also not catching up or not reflecting the increasing global growth. So I'll sum it up again, that certain decisions taken by the government were disruptive, and the external environment, though it has started recovering, is not very conducive, and India, because of our own policies or economic structure, is not able to catch up with the growth that is seen globally. So this divergence is resulting into less economic growth in the country. Other keywords highlighted here is the impact of fiscal consolidation. Fiscal consolidation is government following the mandate of the FRBM Act, where the government tries to reduce the fiscal deficit. When government tries to reduce the fiscal deficit, it can result into less expenditure on the part of government. There are only two options: either you reduce capital expenditure or revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditure, government is trying to reduce through reduction in subsidies by using DBT, the Aadhaar platform. However, the capital expenditure, though it has not been touched much, government has not been able to increase the capital expenditure more. If you see the numbers of the last four budgets, so in toto, what it has resulted into is that the growth in the economy has not been up to the expectation. Last point I would like to point out, that the food price inflation, see, we are going to discuss about this. What has happened is, when we speak about inflation, the RBI has brought in a mechanism through policy committee, MPC. Inflation targeting is followed. I would like to highlight that most of the inflation in India generally is either because of food or fuel. Recent also, you see that the crude oil prices are rising and there is an agricultural distress. So food and fuel, these two components result into majority of problem regarding inflation in India. Now, when you say food and fuel are the major problems, monetary policy and tickling with monetary policy is not going to reduce this inflation or control it completely. Having said this, what it results into it, use of monetary policy to control inflation has a negative impact on growth, no doubt about it. And it also does not take care of the complete inflation scenario in the country, because it is driven by food and fuel, which are least impacted in short term, especially when we speak about monetary policy. In this context, we should understand that the present inflation, which may be because of supply side factors, cannot be tackled by policies which take care of demand side factors. Now, after this, I would move to the next issue, which is regarding, in the same article, which is regarding the forex reserves of India. When you speak about Indian forex reserves, these are the result. We consider this foreign exchange reserves as our strength. But the point is, our reserves are not like China's reserves, which are because of their surplus in trade. Our reserves are because of the foreign investment that comes as FII, which is also called as short-term money or hot money. So this money is unstable. This can go out in large number when attractive facilities are available, attractive interest rates are available in other economies. We have recently seen that the FDI that came to India and FII, that dollars are moving out because of increasing interest rates in US. So these are the factors which highlight the challenges in management of Indian economy. Next, we move to the next article. It is about the recent judgment of Supreme Court, where it said that reservation can be applied to promotion with respect to SC and STs. Now, this article raises certain important issues. We'll see what issues are raised in this article. The first thing is the impact of the present judgment, though it paves way for application of reservation to the concept of promotion in SCs and STs. This is not completely protected from further intervention by the courts, because the courts, while giving this judgment, said that the caveat was in accordance with law. And now, as per Article 141 Constitution, this is a law declared by Supreme Court, which is binding on all courts. I'll simplify it. Presently, Supreme Court has said that promotion can be on the reservation can be applied in promotions for SCs STs. Though Supreme Court has said this, what it means is this becomes a law, and then because it is classified under Article 141 as law, it is applicable on all courts. However, then Supreme Court can go back and revise it later in context of its own judgments, which are also laws. So the criteria of 50% or whatever judgment the Supreme Court has given in the past, in the light of these Supreme Court judgments, this present caveat given by the Supreme Court can also be challenged in the court, right? After this, this article raises certain, this article raises important points for main examination, which is the judgments of Supreme Court. So these various previous verdicts, like Champakan Dorai Rajan case, Rajendran case, Devadasan case, this Balaji case, and Indra Savni judgment, you need to prepare these judgments for main examination. After that, we need to, regarding this article, we need to prepare the constitutional provisions on the basis of which the people who support, or the supporting side and opposing side take refuge for reservation. So here, all the constitutional provisions like Article 16, 16.4, the clauses, we need to be well prepared with. Uh, One thing we can say, that when it comes to reservation policy throughout the country, Supreme Court has applied certain criteria like 50% of reservation, and then how much it should be to a particular community. The point is, India is a very diverse country. The social realities and economic realities throughout the country are not uniform. That is why the writer here, Faizan Mustafa, argues that the application of uniform criteria throughout the country, when there is so much diversity in social, economic aspect and educational aspect, such uniformity may be uncalled for, and we have to understand the local realities while giving judgments, or while deciding or making framing our opinion on how much reservation should be allowed and should not be allowed. I'm sorry. So this is the point. Present position on reservation is such that we have seen SC/STs promotion reservations are applicable. For OBCs, the Indira Savni judgment is applicable, and concept of efficiency is also discussed in this article, because that was one of the judgment of Supreme Court, that reservations are allowed, but efficiency of administration, which is Article 335, should be kept in mind. Now, on efficiency, I would just like to highlight that there's no authentic research done about what impact reservation has on efficiency of administration. However, very recently, in past couple of years, there was an article in newspaper which spoke about a survey which was done in railways by Indian Railways, which studied the performance of officers who were appointed from open category without reservation, and the performance of officers who were appointed on reservation. It was found in that internal survey that the impact of reservation on efficiency in administration was not negative. So there was no finding which would negate the promotion of reservation in the appointments in government. So after this, I would like to just say that what we need is a system of this efficiency. To promote efficiency, we need a proper performance appraisal system in the government. We need a system of checks and balances, so that the honest and the performing ones are rewarded and those who are inefficient are weeded out. Now, when you apply this criteria uniformly, it may uh, it may take care of this argument of efficiency when we discuss the concept of reservation. Next, the last article that we discussed today is about Tamil Nadu, the Tamil community, sorry, not Tamil Nadu, the Tamil community in Sri Lanka. Especially, you are aware that when we consider the map of Sri Lanka, the north, east, and the northeastern portion is where the minorities live. These minorities, majority of the Sri Lankans are Sinhalese, and they follow Sinhala Buddhism, majority. These people who are considered to be of Indian origin in the north, east, and northeast region of Sri Lanka belong to diverse religions. So they are Buddhist also. In this region, there are Sinhali people also. Here, there are Tamil people, majority. And in this Tamil, these Tamil in themselves are also diverse in terms of some Tamils are Hindus, some Tamils are Muslims, some Tamils are even Buddhist and Christians. Now, this article is about abaya. It's a costume that is worn by Muslim women, right? This is Arabic costume, right. So there is debate over the use of abaya by Muslim women in schools in Tamil Nadu, especially the northeastern portion of Tamil Nadu, where majority are persons of Indian origin. Now, the point is, we'll not go into the details or specifics of this article, but the issues raised by this article are very crucial for our study of mains. The first issue is about ethnic violence. The history of Sri Lanka has been very violent, especially when it comes to Tamils. So, Sinhalese and Tamils, there has been the LTTE issue, and very recently LTTE was completely decimated. However, the wedge between the two communities has not been completely bridged, and this ethnic violence divided and fractured the Sri Lankan community in the recent past. Second, I've explained the composition of population in northeastern Sri Lanka. The issues relate to attire, issues related to are related to identity, and this attire identity, when these social differences are highlighted by politics in a divisive manner, and in society also, the fringe elements take benefit from these issues to raise the heat, perpetrate violence, and benefit from it. The point is, the real issue in this case is economic. When there are economic pressures, these fractures in the society widen and violence is the outcome. So we need to economically empower and develop this northeastern portion of Sri Lanka. Next, it is also about the rise of communalism, and this is not just specific to Sri Lanka. This has been seen. Been seen everywhere. Wherever there is economic pressure, communalism, regionalism, protectionism, and all these isms start coming to the surface. On a concluding note, I would say that, like India, which is a model throughout for the globe about diversity, Sri Lanka, and especially in the northeastern region, Sri Lanka needs to follow more accommodative policy where melting pot model may not be very suitable. The identities of minorities and all the constituent elements of population need to be respected, and for this it is necessary to follow a salad bowl approach, where the larger identity is made important, which is national identity, but the original local identities are also protected and they become part and parcel of this composite culture. So this is all from my side. Have a very nice day and happy studying. Thank you.